Hello, everyone. Comrade Snake here. So, I have just finished a game of Weimar, playing myself, really. So, I played the normal full campaign. We went to six rounds, end of the game. It was very close, narrowly a DNVP coup victory at the end there, but actually they're just shy. One more. Wait, no, that would actually change the count. No, yeah, that would change the count to 18. So yeah, one more guy in parliament, and they would have won with a coup, but they did not get that. The Zentrum and the SPD, who were running a minority government in the last round, lost all their guys at the end here because of just the amount of unrest and poverty and communist uprisings and at least one enemy regime. And so it got really, really dicey in the last one. I also had been making a mistake actually in the previous rounds, where because of all those things, you're supposed to lose parliament members. I did that the first couple, and then I kind of missed it in the middle, and it probably would have changed a little bit. I don't know if it would have actually changed the outcome. There's a possibility, maybe turn 4 or 5. There might have been a DNVP coup victory. It's possible. Not coup as in that is an action in the game. So if you're familiar, that's not what I don't mean. Creating a coup victory by achieving this, but having the 50% parliament. It's possible that would have happened. I'm not sure. But maybe that would have been the case. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I have to say I can't rewind and figure it out. But as it stands, mistake with just rolling through it, even with mistakes being made. The Republic technically survived, which led to an SPD victory. They by far have the most points. They had, let's see, 50, 60, 70. They actually have 70 points. 70 points for the SPD. Next runner-up is, I think Zentrum has 47, and then DNVP has 46. The KPD has a 27, so they're pretty far behind. They were never really doing great. They've never managed to have more than a single council. They have a couple uprisings and another council there. That's good. If they had been playing harder towards Parliament while doing just maybe tampering down a little bit and keeping a couple uprisings or councils around on the field, they probably could have had a better shot at contesting a little bit and maybe doing some more. But as it stands, we had Weimar coalitions the vast majority of the time. There was never a time where it wasn't, now that I'm thinking about it, but it was the last round here was a minority cabinet. So that also could have been different depending. It's possible, if I would have been doing that correctly, we would have had a minority cabinet earlier and maybe a collapse into anarchy, which would have thrown it to the DNVP. Well, maybe. Probably not, because the SPD had a lot of points, so I don't know. Hard to say. It might have been a foregone conclusion at a certain point the SPD were going to win. There just might not have been anything that could have stopped it apart from a parliament victory, which maybe that's the only way. It was either going to be an SPD point victory or a DNVP parliament victory. That's kind of where it is. So, let me write a few things out. Obviously, I was not playing optimally because this is a learning game. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I playing it, as if I was all 4 players, which is also not optimal. I'm not doing as well with this. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the headspace of a player in those positions and trying to kind of figure it out. Of course, mistakes were being made along the way, but I was a couple things to say, a few more things about this. One, big thumbs up to the rule book is very good. It is extremely easy to find what you need. There was just a couple little inconsistencies, not inconsistencies, but slightly unclear things that a more careful reading of the text I was able to figure it out. There's only one thing that I really never quite got, but I don't think it actually matters. And that's when you have Parliament overflow and have to clear guys out and then put them in. It wasn't clear if there was like an order that you need to do that in of who gets put in when, or if it's like the chancellor decides or what. But it might actually be the case that it doesn't matter because the math will always work out the same. Maybe. I feel like that in narrow circumstances that might not be true, but then again, I don't know. I'd have to really look at it, but I think mathematically, um, it doesn't actually matter. So it might not even be an issue that's worth bothering to talk about. But I'm gonna bring it up anyway, just because it did every time. It would still leave me just a little like, am I really doing this right? Is there some way to but I didn't like try to figure out the numbers on it or anything. I just kind of played through it because I just wanted to get into it. The components are gorgeous. Anyone who's had this game laid out knows that. Absolutely fantastic. I had a slight packing error where I received 2 of the round markers, and I did not get the foreign marker tracker, which is like a little top hat. But I already reached out to Yuli over at Spielworks, and they're going to send me the marker, so I get to add that in there. So they did that within just a day of me contacting them. So big thumbs up to them. Obviously, it hasn't come in yet because I just did it, but that's great. Really good customer service on that. So nothing but love for Spielworks there. So without trying to get into all the little nitty gritty stuff about how everything works, I'm gonna lay out this game. I think is an instant classic. Even having not played it in the most optimal conditions, I just feel it. Like it's just everything works so well together. Understanding how the game plays is so easy once you kind of get it. Like I said, the rulebook is structured well. It's not a particularly complicated in terms of how to do things. There's lots of helpful info on the board, on here, on how to you can quickly learn and grasp how to do things, and there has the very useful visual cues on everything, so you can really quickly figure out this type of graphic means this, and you can just translate it to this other type of token, all that. So it all works very well for understanding there. But the interwoven nature of the mechanics is really something. Every action you as a player can do either strengthens your position or weakens an enemy, but in most circumstances, doing that, either of those, will also strengthen another enemy. So there's always a push and pull going on. Or maybe not even necessarily enemy is not always the right word. Sometimes like especially when you have the Democratic parties and from the SPD in coalition, they're adversarial and they need to cooperate. But you don't want to do too much. You can't give them too much. Like the Zentrum probably cooperated too long with the SPD in this. But and the Zentrum need to be more willing to let the DNVP slide on certain things because they need that counter to help. They need them to help counter the Communist Party and the SPD. It's just like I said, I don't want to get too deep into all the weeds of it, but everything is so interlocked. And while I don't have any really good insights on optimum strategy or play, it always felt good. And this is just like me playing by myself just here. It's like everything that was going on almost like virtually always felt good, except just a few times where I wasn't sure if there was a way out of a situation. And there is if I was more clever with how to do things or knew more of the ins and outs of certain things, because as I'm learning it, I'm forgetting certain nuances about some rules or something about what on which faction does unrest play help out or this. I mean, eventually, things get cemented. Like, unrest is good if you're the KPD or the DNVP and you want to do a coup and take over the local government, establish a regime or a communist council and all that jazz. Like, you start to understand that poverty helps communist coups, for instance, which took me a bit to realize, so that's why they actually kind of KBD wants poverty around. That helps them out. But you also got to be careful because you want to do the timing right, because if you get too much poverty and it becomes an issue in the whole country where it gets added up there and it collapses before you're ready, you could still end up throwing it to another like the DNVP or one of the other factions if they're ahead enough in government. So there's a lot of, and maybe there was a time where it could have been a right coalition with the Zentrum and the DNVP in the lead earlier in the game, and if that was the case, it behooves the KPD in those circumstances. At that time, they would have wanted to have tried to collapse the country if possible, which it wasn't quite in their grasp. But had it been, they could have done that and gotten into potentially a winning position points wise, because it would sink everything. But those kind of things are really interesting. But the interworking nature of the card play, heading to the board, to Parliament, and then to fighting over the issues on this board, which if you've ever played something like, say, Churchill, about fighting over debates, as the action is called, moving issues along tracks to try to gain control of it and swing something else on the board in your favor. It works kind of very much like that kind of thing it did in that game, Churchill. It's I don't want to rant too much longer on this. It's already over 10 minutes, but this game is absolutely incredible. In a couple weeks here, I'll be able to play it with some a full roster of real people, and we'll see how it goes then. So maybe it'll change. So this is more of a preliminary kind of review, but at the moment, that's kind of my feelings about all this. Instant classic, incredible game. That's what I just feel in my body right now. So yeah, anyone who gets a chance to check out Weimar, you really should. You can, it's got all these great components, all these cool cards. There's cards in here I didn't even see, I don't think. Hindenburg's Cabal, yeah. So there's in here. Oh, look, you get to appoint a new government. Yeah, there's other cards in here I didn't see yet. Strike on Prussia. Yeah, there's more of the. So we, when it came to the NSDAP, there's quite a few of them over there of Browns. We got close to the game ending. We got 2 more, and it would have done it, but it was pretty strong. If we had even 1 less, I think the DNVP would have that coup victory. But as it stands, SPD. All right, I guess I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna stop ranting about it. Everyone check out Weimar as soon as possible. Download the Vassal if you have to. Whatever it is, this game is great. Everybody play it. Thank you. Goodbye.